What's going on, y'all? Ray here with Second Chance Rising with our drummer, Mr. Earl Hoover. Hey, we're going to do a little rig rundown on his kit. A lot of questions from some of the drum forums and people have been asking about the kit and the sound that we've been achieving on some of our recordings. So we thought that we'd share that with you. So, hey, so let's check these things out. So, Earl, tell us a little bit about the kit. I mean, I know the thing's pretty sweet. This is the second kit that you've had since you've been playing with us. So tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, it is a Pearl Masters MCX kit. It's 100% maple shell. Maple is kind of like the apple pie baseball of drums. A very classic shell. It's 7.5 millimeters. Now this has been discontinued. This is from the 2000s, and they have another one out, Masters Maple Complete, which has a thinner shell, about 5.5. So this is a little beefier, gives you a little more punch. Just to let you know something about myself, growing up in the 70s, playing rock and roll in the 70s, that's kind of what I'm looking for when I get something. Cymbals, drums, heads, is that classic rock and roll sound.
Now I know that we love red. We got you decorated up in this corner in red. We got the funkiness going on. But tell me about the red Evans heads. Now tell me about the heads.
So again, the red Evans heads are the hydraulic heads. They deaden the sound of the drums. So there's not a lot of doing that's going to come out of these toms. Again, it's that classic rock and roll sound that I'm looking for.
And I know that does help. And we'll have a studio tour that's coming out soon, later on in the next few months. But we have a relatively small room here, 19 by 19. It is fairly dead. But when he changed these heads out, it did make a significant difference in our recording for sure. And I know that. Now tell us about the cymbals. I see you coming in and out of here with cymbals all the time. So tell me a little bit about the cymbals and the hi-hats.
Again, growing up in the 70s, I'm a Zildjian guy. I'm Zildjian all the way. After Desert Storm, I was stationed in the Army at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I took a trip to Nashville. And I went in there and I said, I want a Zildjian rock ride. I want a Zildjian rock crash. I want Zildjian rock hi-hats. And over the years, they kind of went away. I still like that classic sound. So I like Pasty. These Pasty 2002s, classic rock and roll sound. John Bonham, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But growing up in the 70s, they weren't really popular around to pick up. Even the guy that I knew that played drums that liked Pasty, he had Zildjians. Well, anyway, I just like that sound, that sound, and this particular Pasty right here, Thin Crash 19. That is my favorite crash. That is not my most played crash. That is just one that I like. It sings to my ears when I play it. Otherwise, I like Sabian. I like Sabian AA. Again, classic rock and roll sound. This particular ride cymbal is my favorite ride cymbal. It's a raw bell dry ride. I have two of them. One is on my practice set. We'll get into that probably in another video.
Now I see a very special piece of equipment that every kit needs, and that's that cowbell. Tell us about that cowbell. Anything special about that cowbell?
Cowbell is kind of simple. It is a Pearl. I think they call it CB6, just 6 inches of cowbell. Of course, I had painted red because, the set. And everything that I purchase and I use, it's because I like the particular sound of this. I like the particular sound of this shaker. I like the particular sound of this tambourine. It's one of my favorites. And, of course, you have to have something to scrape on and get certain sounds out of. I've tried just about everything there was, and the ones I pick, well, they, sound great in my ear, and I know they sound great when we're recording them.
Now, even a guitar player knows that drummers are always really particular about their snare. So tell me about, I know you've come in and out a couple of different times with the snare, so tell me about this particular snare and the other snares that you've used in the past.
Well, this particular one is a Pearl Sensitone brass snare. Of course, metal snares are more sensitive.
Does that mean louder? Because that's what it sounds like to me, to the guitar player.
Right. And then other snares that I had is a Pearl Masters Maple. which is 100% maple. Now that one is loud. And I don't know, it's kind of the difference between a shotgun and a rifle, if there is a difference, but they're still loud. And then the one I have on my practice kit is a Pearl Masters or maple mahogany free floater.
Awesome. Now I know that also as you use these gels and you got some kind of a different dampener on the snare too that may interest some people that may be trying to tame some sound in the studios. So tell us a little bit about. I know that's probably nothing special for any drummers, but maybe just talk a little bit about how you control the sound in the room.
Well, again, it's just trying to deaden the heads. That particular dampener is called a drum taco. It's just a bean bag, puts a little weight on the head so you don't have a lot of boing.
So no gaffing tape and no drums. I mean, no towels.
No. Well, and Ringo Starr did that, so it can't be all bad, right?
I hear you. And now I know you got an electronic pad over here that we use, but so tell everybody a little bit how we use it. I know we got the Aussie rattling on there. You got a couple other cool tones that we use from time to time.
So that is a roll-in SPD 30. It has so many settings on there, more than 100 settings, and of course you can customize it. I have the primary things that we use on there, like the rain stick, the Aussie rattle. There's hand claps. There's chimes. Anything that we need for special effects, we're going to have.
Now we keep Earl's kit mic'd up all the time. This kit sometimes leaves the studio we do a few shows with, but a lot of times he uses the other kit when we're doing a live show. Just because this one's already set up, ready to record anytime that we've got inspiration, so to speak. But tell us a little bit about what we've got mic'd here. I know we've got, two overheads. We use Rode NT1 A's, which I sometimes use as vocal, but they are bright enough. They make a pretty good drum mic. We also kind of have it in a Glenn Johns type recording pattern when we're recording, and then we just kind of mic everything on the kit as well. But tell us a little bit about the mics and so forth.
So, primary, you want to mic up the bass drum, you want to mic up the snare drum, and those overheads are great. The NT1s are just awesome. On the toms, we're using the Shure PGA 56s. Now the PGA is kind of like their budget line, but you know what? They work perfect because the overhead and everything else that's mic'd up is coming through great. The bass drum has a AKG D112, and it also has a PGA 52 inside the drum. And of course,
and what you see here is just one of our configurations where we mic the kick drum. Sometimes we'll have that mic set back a foot or two. Sometimes we'll use a blanket to dampen that sound, get a little bit more bass out of it. We also, the mics do perfect for like what Earl was saying, but a lot of times we'll blend in some samples too with it if we don't get quite the right sound that we get in this 19 by 19 room. But overall, we get some pretty great sounds for what we've got to work with.
And again, recording on the snare, the SM57s are perfect road horses. They're workhorses all the way, both on the top and the bottom.
Yeah. Now just SM57, just a standard with just about probably 90% of the people mic their snare with. Now, I know as a guitar player, Earl, that I like a particular pair of strings on most of my guitars. Tell me about sticks. That's probably overlooked. Are you particular about which sticks you use?
I like ProMark sticks. I'm not an endorser, but I tell you, I started out with ProMarks, and again, this is 70s and 80s, and the nylon tips kept flying off. Well, I changed my sticks to Vic Firth, but Vic Firth changed the way they made their sticks, the taper on their sticks, and so I went back to ProMark, and they fixed that problem of the nylon tips flying off. But I have a variety of both nylon tips and wood tips, playing 5Bs and some 7As. And when I play some 7As, I just feel like a jazz musician. It just comes out of me.
Well, now there might be some people that have been drumming for 50 years and are pro studio musicians. There may be some people watching that are just be just getting behind a kit, you know, teenager. What would you tell them? Should they start with a particular set of sticks or a particular set drum kit? Or I mean, I know you just want to get behind, but if you just kind of, you know, like me, I'm always looking for new gear. What's this guy using? What's he recording with? I mean, any recommendations for someone just starting out as far as what sticks and what kit?
The sets I like are Pearl. Pearl Export is probably one of the most ubiquitous sets around for beginners. But I also like Mapex. I like Tama. Of course, you can't beat Gretsch and Ludwig. There are so many entry-level sets out there that are so good that people can get their hands on. You know, it's not a problem to make them sound good.
Basically, get a kit and start drumming. That's
Get
the
a
most
kit and
important
start
thing.
drumming. Get a kit and start drumming.
Now, when did you start drumming?
10 years old.
10 years old.
10 years old. My grandfather said, I came from a musical family. My grandfather said, what instrument do you want to play? I'm a 10-year-old punk, and I said, drums.
We'll make some noise.
And you know what? He bought me a set of drums. He took me to lessons. He stayed there with me. Afterward, we went and got some chili dogs, whatever. You know, that was my time with my grandfather. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. That's an awesome story. Well, hey, thanks for everybody tuning in for our rig rundown over Earl's kit. Hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you will. If you want to see more of these, like, subscribe, ring the bell. We certainly would appreciate the support. We're going to do more rig rundowns on the guitars, recording techniques, and things like that. That'll be coming up. We will be also posting new videos. We got I don't depend on when you're watching this. This is early 2023, but we got some new music coming out in a couple months. So we hope that you'll like, subscribe, and support us. God bless you, and keep looking up.
God bless you.
And brothers and sisters.